Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Taylor MacIntyre. We begin tonight with an update on the Old Fort community. On Sunday, the evacuation order was lifted for the majority of homes in the subdivision. Only 4 houses remain on an evacuation order or alert. The Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure has built a semi-permanent road in and out of Old Fort, but there is a potential that weather could initiate ground movement. Led by the Dawson Creek Chamber of Commerce, a group of residents, concerned citizens for caribou, have started a petition that has garnered approximately 10,000 signatures so far. The petition aims to slow down the provincial government and ask them to take a step back to conduct proper consultations with all users, stakeholders, businesses, and local governments. Mayor Bumstead says that the elves will be restocking the magic candy cane tree until the end of the Christmas season on December 31st. It looks like a new tradition has begun in Dawson Creek. For the last 3 consecutive years, Kayla has made the trip to Vancouver to record a song in a professional studio. Although she doesn't see singing as her end career path, she's able to connect on a different level with herself and others through her music. Tomorrow night, the Junior Canucks welcome North Peace for their first home game of the new season. The team is hoping that the home crowd will be behind them, cheering them on for a W and a 2-0 weekend. In support of the policy, at South Peace Secondary School in Dawson Creek, a gender-neutral washroom space is being built. Within the school, there will still be the traditional gender-separate washrooms as well, providing options and a safe space for all students. The Burgers to Beat MS campaign is led by former national soccer team captain Christine Sinclair, whose mother was diagnosed with MS over 30 years ago. Sinclair says she wants to do anything she can to help put an end to this disease. During the 5th week of strike action, the rotation has returned to Dawson Creek. Local postal workers and letter carriers took to the picket lines again earlier this morning. Earlier today, the Trudeau government introduced back-to-work legislation, but said it would delay debating the bill in the House of Commons to give a special mediator time to try to reach an agreement. If the legislation is passed, the local president says the union will initiate a legal battle.
They are going to be fighting it. In 2011, they fought it and they won the arbitration for that, and they'll be fighting it again.
Pfeiffer adds that negotiations have been going okay thus far, but says that Canada Post is still reluctant to meet their health and safety concerns. According to Cup W, the union has the highest rate of workplace injuries in the federal sector in Canada, 5 times higher than the rest.
People go drive by and they're honking their horns, and we're having a really good time with the support, lots of good comments telling us to keep fighting.
In addition, Cup W says the mail backlog has been highly exaggerated. Canada Post has reported that hundreds of trailers are sitting idle, full of packages, when in fact, according to Cup W, the Toronto Local reports they have about 70, a backlog that could be cleared within a few days. Cup W says the excessive number of trailers was a rumor orchestrated by Canada Post so that the government would step in, which is exactly what happened. Canada Post released a statement saying, quote, "We continue to operate in an attempt to minimize further service impacts on the many people who depend on us, especially at this time of year." Taylor MacIntyre, CJDC-TV News, Dawson Creek.
It was an exciting evening in the energetic city. Residents have elected 2 new city councillors, Becky Grimsrud and Tony Zabinski. Grimsrud managed to receive the highest number of votes, over 1,700.
New perspective, a bit more open dialogue with the citizens, hopefully a lot more new ideas and just different things that I can try to come up with to help the average person in Fort St. John.
Re-elected council members include Gord Klassen, Lilia Hansen, Byron Stewart, and Trevor Bolin. Previous councillors Bruce Christensen and Larry Evans were not re-elected this term. Mayor Lori Ackerman has been re-elected by acclamation. She has been mayor of the city since 2011.
I was ready for a debate. I was looking forward to being challenged in that debate and defending all of the projects and everything that the city has done over the years. But alas, that was not to be.
Over 2,800 residents voted in the municipal election, 20% of the estimated number of eligible voters.
With the LNG plant approved in Kitimat, Mayor Ackerman says council will have some big decisions to make over these next 4 years. She adds she's looking forward to continuing her work for the residents of Fort St. John. Taylor MacIntyre, CJDC-TV News, Fort St. John. The Oilers and Penguins put on a wildly entertaining game for fans at Rogers Place last night, and in the end, Sidney Crosby outdueled Connor McDavid. If you're a BC Hydro customer, you may have noticed a new charge on your bill for something called a crisis fund. The amount isn't large, but it's got many people wondering what it is and why they're being charged. As Remembrance Day approaches, veterans are in the spotlight on Parliament Hill, but the focus is on financial hardship. As many as 270,000 veterans are owed $165 million because of a calculation error. An emotional send-off for a Vancouver Whitecaps fan favorite. Alphonso Davies played his last game for Vancouver before setting off for Germany. Grim new details paint a disturbing picture in the disappearance of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi. Turkish officials are increasingly convinced the Saudi crown prince was involved in the journalist's death. There's plenty of uncertainty around the Edmonton Eskimos after missing the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. More specifically, questions surround star quarterback Mike Riley, who is a free agent and may not be back next season. CTV's Adam Cook reports. In the meantime, Canada's Prime Minister was asked by CNN to offer his thoughts on the U.S. midterms, and the answer he gave is exactly what you would expect Justin Trudeau to say. Taking a look at the regional forecast for tomorrow, Hudson's Hope is looking at sunshine in the forecast, a high of -3. Fort Nelson, much the same, the sun shining for tomorrow, a high of -8. Chetwynd, Fort St. John, and Dawson Creek, it's all sunshine for you as well. We've got highs of -6 in Fort St. John, and in Chetwynd and Dawson Creek, we're looking at a high of -5. Tumbler Ridge is looking at a high of -7 for tomorrow, but sunshine as well. And over in Alberta, we're looking at sunshine in Spirit River, a high of -10. And in Grand Prairie, sunshine as well, and a high of -8. Well, that's what made news for today. Tune in again tomorrow night at 6. Have a good evening.